Okay, this third chart is for a man, and he has 18 Cancer on the third. So we look down here and we see 18 degrees of Cancer on the third house. So Cancer we know is ruled by the moon, and there she is up in the 12th house, whoops, at 0 degrees of Taurus. Okay? So if I were to ask you the meaning of the 12th, you would probably say things like imprisonment, secrets, behind the scenes activity, and so on, and I can agree with that. So this fellow, I've known him for many years, and I see him maybe twice a year when he's passing through the town where I live, going back after he's been on a visit to Toronto. And every time we meet and every time we have a conversation, he's got a new conspiracy to tell me about. So he talks about the moon in the 12th kinds of things. And so if you think of the moon as being secrets and behind the scenes, you can understand that it can also represent conspiracies. And so he's always got it's not just one conspiracy, there are multiple going on, and it's like every year there's a new one. So the last time he was telling me about, there's always another website, and he was telling me about, and I can't remember the details, but it had to do with the fact that even if you get $10,000 on a credit card, you don't have to pay it because there's nothing, I don't know, he was talking about there's no legally binding agreement between the banks and the credit card companies. I don't know quite what it was, but he was quite convinced of the validity of this idea that there's a conspiracy to keep people enslaved, and by acting in a certain way, you can free yourself from the slavery. So the thing is, he talks about conspiracies, but it's not any old conspiracy, because you see the moon here is in Taurus, and Taurus is ruled by Venus, and Venus is up here in the 10th, and the 10th is a house of government. So it's not just a conspiracy, it's the government who's doing it to the rest of us, and it's the government that is behind the conspiracy. Okay, so that's one rule of the third in the 12th, disposed of by a planet in the 10th. Okay, if we go back to the third here, we've got 18 Scorpio on the cusp, and that, as we know, first decanate Cancer is Cancer, second decanate Cancer is Scorpio. So we know it's a Scorpio decanate, and Scorpio is ruled by Mars. Oops, that didn't work. Mars is over here, okay, in the 5th. So again, if I were to ask you what area of life is ruled by the 5th house, you would mention children. And the answer, and okay, this fellow talks about his children. He happens to have 3 planets in the 5th. Saturn's near the cusp in Virgo, then there's Mars, then there's Neptune and Libra as well. So 3 planets actually correspond with 3 children. Saturn, a feminine planet, closest to the cusp, and the first child is a daughter. Then Mars for the sun, and the third child, Neptune and Libra, also are. Neptune is another feminine planet, and his third child is a daughter, quite idealistic daughter. The first child, Saturn in Virgo, is hardworking, realistic, social climbing type individual. Anyway, that's something else for another video on the 5th house representing children. So if we go back to the meaning of the 5th house, it also represents gambling and speculation, as you probably know. And this fellow trades. He buys and sells stocks and shares and so on. And when I meet him, usually we begin with conspiracies and the government, what the government is doing to people. But then we quickly move on to his trading and his work with astrology and his other methods of figuring out and forecasting how a stock is going to go, how a stock is going to move. And I say we talk about how his trading is going, but usually it's about how he can't make up his mind about what to trade or when to buy and sell. And we see Mars here in Libra, okay? And we know Libra can't make up its mind. And it's interesting that he does talk about his indecision when it comes to trading, about how he can't make up his mind what to trade and when to buy and sell, and also about how he changed his mind and he later wished he hadn't, because changing his mind usually results in a loss. Okay, and that makes an awful lot of sense with Mars and Libra. So I don't think at this point you're particularly surprised by the fact that he has trouble making up his mind when it comes to fifth house matters. So that was a little bit about the third house, showing how it indicates what people talk about. And I'm going to be doing something about this, about signs on cusps and what they mean or what they can show about how you communicate. But that's probably going to be in the next video, which I probably will call 3B. And if I can say one more thing, I would ask you to not forget there's a sign-up form for the newsletter on the main contents page at astrologyinaction.org. And I'd like to, at this point, see if I can open up a browser and take you to the site. So I push that button. It opens Firefox. I go here to Astrology in Action, and this is, okay, I don't know if this is going to record, if it's going to work. So if you get a blank screen at this point, it's because this part didn't copy particularly well. And so here, down at the bottom of the main contents, you've got this, what's new at Astrology in Action. So give me a name and an email, and click submit, and we'll take it from there. And I'd also point your attention to this part, up at the top, under the course, watch excerpts. You can click on that, and then you've got a list of the 32 or so excerpts from the course that are available right now. And so there we click on the method, and it takes you to a page like this, and you've got a little thing, and I click on that, and that starts the actual video. And so I stop it there. So that's it. If you have, let me just close this. Okay, if you have comments or questions, email Ballantrae, or BLLNTR, actually, at yahoo.com, or send me a telephone number and I'll give you a call. Email is good and I like it a lot, but from time to time it's more pleasant to actually talk to real people. So hopefully this has all worked and I can fade out, and then we'll start working on the next video. Thank you very much.